Welcome and thanks for joining us for this episode of Scope. PNG's National Stock Exchange, PNGX, plans to focus on investor education next year. PNGX Chairman David Lawrence admitted the market needs more awareness. The PNGX team was in Lae recently to conduct awareness on listing companies on the National Stock Exchange as well as investment opportunities for individuals and groups.
A stock exchange is developed to meet two basic and complementary needs: a company's need for funds and an individual or company's desire to invest savings sufficiently. PNG's National Stock Exchange, PNGX, was in Lae recently to speak with the business community about the potential for listing on the stock market, as well as advise individuals on how to buy shares in listed companies. PNGX Chairman David Lawrence said currently interest in PNG's stock market is still growing.
The market in PNG is very small. It's dominated by BSP, Canada, the financial institutions. On the mining and oil side we have Santos and Newcrest. But it's a market with enormous potential. There are a lot of companies in Papua New Guinea. There's the growing retail investor base. More mums and dads becoming interested in the market. We started to see that part of the market grow. But I think what's largely driving that is you can get better returns on your money in the stock market than you can by putting your money in the bank. We're looking at developing new markets to meet the needs of small and medium-sized companies. So over the next 12 months we'll be developing a grow market for small companies, and what we're currently calling a passage market for medium-sized companies. And that provides a pathway for smaller companies to grow, to access new finance mechanisms, and to grow into a much bigger company. We take the view that from little things, big things grow.
Lawrence said PNGX has noted that more investors are becoming interested in the market, adding the minimum investment is 2,000 kina, excluding broking fees. Brokerage is usually between 200 kina and 300 kina, and more mums and dads are investing for the long run. Meantime, the PNGX chairman admitted that more awareness is needed. Hence, their activities in 2023 will focus on investor education.
A lot of what we'll be doing next year is focusing on investor education. So we'll be trying to run investor education programs on the stock market in every province. But we also be running programs for university students so they become more aware of how to invest. And we'll be trying to get more awareness of the market and investment into the last couple of years of schooling, so that children become more aware of how they can put their money to use as they move out into the workforce. Brokers in the market, we have Kina Securities and JMP Securities. It's been that way for many years. We would like to see more stockbrokers in the market. I think that the pathway for that has opened up now that we have an active securities commission who can grant licences. But the more stockbrokers we have in the market, the more competition we have, and the more competition we have, the more shares we'll see traded. And that will give us better pricing, and it becomes a bit of a chicken and egg. The more investors we get, the more active the market is. The more active the market, the more investors we get. So yes, we would definitely like to see more stockbrokers come into the market.
Lawrence pointed out that foreign exchange limitation is one of the structural barriers in the market that needs to be addressed. Forex limitation acts as a barrier to foreign investors investing in the stock exchange.
The other one is foreign investors need what's called a custodian in the country. And a custodian holds their assets on behalf of the foreign investor. At the moment we don't have a custodian in the country, and we are looking at ways of trying to fill that gap so that we can attract more foreign investors directly into the stock exchange.
When we come back, BCFW raise awareness on gender-based violence online and its impact on production and the economy. Digital Awareness Business Coalition for Women revealed during a half-day conference in Port Moresby that online or digitalized gender-based violence and sexual violence affects production and the economy. The conference was to raise awareness on the risks posed online and to find solutions to minimize the effects through sharing of experiences.
Chief Executive Officer of Business Coalition for Women, Yvonne Kennedy, was impressed with the positive outcome of members' attendance at the conference, which she said is a great improvement from 7 years ago when the coalition was started.
You know, people understood that it happened, but also thought that it had to stay at home. It was a domestic issue and really shouldn't be responded by the workplace. But fortunately, we were able to partner with the International Finance Corporation and do some research which showed the significant cost and impact to the business community.
This research helped the BCFW to reach out to business houses, convincing them how gender-based violence and sexual violence affects their business in terms of loss of man-hours. It didn't take long for leaders to take note and give their support.
The reason why we decided to focus on online violence is that it kept coming up from the business community. So whilst, say, in a consensual relationship, pictures might be shared, if a relationship is coming to an end or they leave the relationship, images were starting to be weaponized against parties, and online violence was being used as a tool.
Special guest speaker on Zoom from Australia is Safety Commissioner Anita Helen, Program Manager for Women in Spotlight, shared statistics and experience on cyberbullying and adult cyber abuse in Australia. There was also a panel leading the discussions during the meeting.
We hope that you get an increased awareness of our legislation around this issue. And we do want to showcase the existing referral pathways, some of which couldn't be here today because there are other forums on today.
Though a lot is being done to minimize gender-based violence and family sexual violence in the business community, there is still room for more as the implementers are very few in number. Panelists comprising of representatives from the justice sector, NICTA, public prosecutor, and Equal Playing Field discussed their impressions of the issue and the roles they play.
It's really a big problem in our police force. It's the lack of the resources, okay? When we are dealing with digital evidence, cyber, anything that's to do with the online platforms and technology itself.
Not only resources, but also technical experts are needed in that space in monitoring or tracking digital offenders and prosecuting them. Andy Rogers said the risk is more on the vulnerable groups, such as children who may unsuspectingly be drawn into dangers of digital abuse, including sexual abuse.
As you heard from the discussions, the risk is real because children, although they are tech savvy, they know how to handle and use devices and gadgets well. They simply do not have the life skills to recognize what those risks are. And that is where the call has been made for parents and carers to take a more proactive approach in guiding them.
Alicia Sion from Equal Playing Field, an organization addressing issues of youth, shared experiences of their engagement with children in regard to digital violence. Alicia Sion from Equal Playing Field, an organization addressing issues of youth, shared experiences of their engagement with children in regard to digital violence.
What we tell parents is that it's important, especially when your child discloses to you that they're experiencing online violence, to be empathetic. Because more often than not, they were on a social media platform that against your best advice, they did it anyway. So in agreement with what you were saying, you could give them, advice. We also acknowledge that maybe even if we are doing the Smart with the Heart campaign, there's going to be one or two that's definitely not going to listen to us.
And so, having to be exposed to that amount of time online will usually bring with it a risk.
After the break, 16th PNG Mining and Petroleum Conference and Exhibition provides industry and associated professionals with invaluable opportunity to network and market Papua New Guinea as a destination for business and potential investment. The 16th PNG Mining and Petroleum Investment Conference came to an end on Wednesday, December the 7th, with key government departments explaining the steps investors need to take in order to come to the country to conduct business. PNG Chamber of Mines and Petroleum President Anthony Smare says the conference is a major success with participation at an all-time high despite the impact of COVID-19 in the last 3 years. The 16th PNG Mining and Petroleum Conference and Exhibition has provided the industry and associated professionals with an invaluable opportunity to network and market Papua New Guinea as a destination for business and potential investment.
The 16th PNG Mining and Petroleum Investment Conference was held in Sydney with Prime Minister James Marape reassuring investors that PNG is a destination to invest. He also urged them to play at developing the country. It comes after a 3-year interruption brought about by COVID-19 that the PNG Chamber of Mines and Petroleum put together another major event to promote the country to the world. Chamber of Mines and Petroleum President Anthony Smare says the future still looks bright for the PNG resource sector, so it will be highly contested. Over 1,000 financiers, exploration companies, government officials, landowners, and business leaders attended the first day of the conference.
And look, it's always good to be to these places. It's a good way to get your name out there, and people know you're involved in the development of PNG through the mining resource sector. We do a lot of lending for the resource sector, Teddy, K92 mine, and all up in Lay, support services. So the mining industry is very important to our business and to all of PNG.
We're right next to the entrance, so we can see, from the Prime Minister to all the ministers to all the other delegates, and there's a positive charge to the place. I think it's been 4 years since the event was held, so it's fantastic just to connect with people again post-COVID.
It's good to see so many people from Papua New Guinea and Australia attend the conference and really, reunite those connections and look at these exciting developments that are coming up in Papua New Guinea. So thank you.
PNG's message to the world is that the country has 5 major projects coming up: the Papua LNG project, Wafi Golpu project, Pasca, the reopening of the Porgera gold mine, and PNGX. Prime Minister Marape says PNG is expecting positive future projections for growth and stands to reach a 200 billion kina economy, but it must include local involvement.
He said, ExxonMobil, you take my gas and take my people with you. And we will support everything you do. Take my gas and take my people with you. It wasn't a literal statement of taking people with you, but more so to do with bettering our people's life.
The government came with a coordinated approach to talk to investors.
We decided to become a more coordinated approach. It's also our government forum to come and talk to the investors. That's why it's more coordinated, and it's more important now that government, especially the agencies that were involved, Investment Promotion Authority, Immigration, Customs, and Taxation. This is a start for many more coordinated and proactive government approaches. We want to come and tell the investor our rules and our regulatory regimes and how they should comply, so that we can facilitate the investment for ease of doing business in Papua New Guinea. That was the theme of our session this morning. Yeah.
With the shift in focus toward national content, presentations by both Minister for Mining, Seano Pala, and Minister for Petroleum, Keringa Kua, national content and the government policies around it would guide the direction of future aspirations. Minister Kua says with 58 prospecting licenses and 10 PDLs, he believes this is a good starting point for Papua New Guinea heading into the future. Isipik Governor Alan Bird came through from the agriculture perspective, stressing the point to investors that there could be more to just royalty payments, and that's supporting local communities with sustainable income opportunities through agriculture.
If we can get them to think outside of that box a little bit and to spend some of those dollars to empower communities so that communities don't just sit there and receive free money from their resources, but that money is further reinvested into the community in terms of long-term sustainable income opportunities through agriculture.
Mr. Smare says PNG's resource growth is over 30 million kina and is expected to grow with new opportunities for Papua New Guinea.
The big thing for me it's almost been a joint conference because it's been joint promotion effort by the PNG government and the private sector to really talk about investing in our country, in our core industries.
And that ends Scope this evening. A kind reminder to apply the following simple measures to prevent the transmission of the coronavirus. Regularly wash your hands with soap and water, cough or sneeze into your elbow, and exercise social distancing. If you are feeling sick, please stay at home. You can also call the COVID-19 hotline number for more information or assistance. Thank you for your company. Bye for now.